What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Six Gaming Podcast. Filling in for your host as always, because I actually have a working camera. It's Ron Clay.
Oh, go blow it out your ass.
This guy over here is just kind of looking at you like this. That shows on.
Really?
Yeah, that shows on. He should be hosting this thing, but he. What did you do?
I don't know. My webcam just decided to take a humongous crap, so it's worthless.
Well, better the webcam than you, I guess.
Well, that's true.
Anyway, we have a full cast of awesome and illustrious co-hosts this week, starting with the man with the yellow hair.
Oh wait, is that me?
Yeah, that's
Hi,
you.
you have a monkey. I stream on
Canadian.
Twitch maybe sometimes.
Dan, be quiet.
Also Canadian.
You're also Canadian, yes.
We
apologize. We apologize to our viewers for that.
Yeah.
The guy who's interrupting everyone today with the awful green screen and the red face.
In real life, it's quite green.
I'm sure it is.
It looks like you hung a bunch of paper up. It's like the poor man's green screen.
It came folded up, and it was like all the Amazon reviews are like it's creased as fuck, but it kind of works. So
Yeah.
it was $9.
It was it's
perfect.
muslin, right? Muslin.
What are you gonna get for $9?
Material?
Hi, I'm Penth.
Yeah. I've got a muslin one too, and it's pretty much the same.
Quit it with your racism.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
Damn it.
Okay. Yeah.
You can't even
that's
see
enough.
my face.
That's enough. That's
I
enough.
was
It's-
actually going to say it
that's
sounds
enough.
like you guys are saying Muslim, and it's really kind of weird.
It's 10:05, and that might be the earliest facepalm I ever got out of Ron. Just so you know, it's
No,
actually
you got
like,
it early.
No,
You
no.
got it early. Ass one last week. I don't want to hear it.
Was it last week?
It was
Yeah, okay.
last week. Yes.
Okay. It's
You
my
got one from me. You just couldn't see it.
Yep.
well, it's my unstated game to see how early I can get a facepalm out of Ron. So.
Sometimes he tries too hard, but that one was actually really good. So I'll give it to him. And then the guy with the weird eyes. Show. That's you.
What?
You have
Oh,
the weird
that's
eyes.
me? Hi. Yes. I
You
have
guys are
weird
supposed to
eyes.
know your own icons.
I need to change this icon.
You
But it just
should.
it worked so well for me.
The last time you changed the icon, it was the same icon, just with different types of eyes.
Was it? Okay,
Yes.
Fuck. I need to be more creative.
Icon. That's for my wife.
Boo.
Cooties. Cooties.
Yes, indeed. And then the man with the proper green screen.
Proper-ish. Hi guys, I'm Squigga.
He's got good
And-
lighting, though. The light bounces
here.
off his head, and, you know.
That's actually only one of my. I have 3 lights, and that's the actual proper studio lighting one I have. So I let that go. It's my main light.
Nice.
Fantastic. And of course, we have a wonderful show for you today, and it's going to start off as we always do with show.
News!
Yes. New.
Yes!
She just.
Darty,
Was that-
you set off the dogs.
Was that a dog howling in the background?
If I say yes, I'm probably dead. So we're gonna go with no.
I didn't know you got a husky, Ron. It's
Oh wow!
Yeah, that was
Okay, we're
burn.
gonna get quickly into news here. Our top story this week, starting with Blizzard news. StarCraft has come out. StarCraft 2 actually has come out with what they call premium arcade maps, and they're on sale for $4.99 each.
pricey. I mean, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And
Well, here's one thing: they're made by the community,
yeah, that's the other thing.
That's
Now-
my first question. What's the cut?
right?
That's what
Well, yeah.
matters.
Yeah.
I think that's what matters. I would happily pay $5 for a map if I know it's more than a like a 60-40 split in favor of the map maker.
Yeah.
I'm actually trying to find out if there is
No.
a.
It doesn't say. However, Tim Morton says that the split in revenue on premium arcade maps favors the content creator.
Okay.
Now, it's
So-
you would assume that means that the majority goes to the content creator, but he means it favors them compared to other common media splits.
Now, how are these maps being selected? That's kind of my question, right? Because with anything community created, you get that one gem and 1,000 piles of crap.
I mean, presumably they talk to
Community
people who
votes.
make really, really good maps, and they ask them to make a special one.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if they did like community votes, or like you said, it's like curated type stuff, that'd be nice. But if they're just kind of throwing, hey, I want to submit my map,
No,
that's
I mean
gonna be
it's
bad.
the people who know what they're doing.
That's good.
I guess
still
one of the
have
things
a
I worry
problem.
about is how do they vet this stuff? Does somebody submit a map that's just shaped like a giant phallus? And
Yeah,
like,
I mean,
sure that would
go
never
on
get
sale
in.
and you just bought yourself a phallus? Congrats.
Yeah,
No,
I
I mean,
wouldn't.
You could already do that online. I don't know why Blizzard would get into that.
Yeah, true.
Right.
Cole's
No,
has a whole website with those maps.
Exactly. Maps.
That's a very special interest
Cole
right there.
has a map on his face.
I think I might be the only one that actually has a problem with this sort of stuff, though.
But it's like if I mean you can get all the free maps. It's not like they're gating current content from what I can tell.
Yeah,
It's you know,
Sure.
Joe and Sam and Bob all make maps a lot and they're really great. And so they're like, hey, you guys want to make a couple maps that are, you know, more intensive, but we'll pay you for them.
Yep.
And then you can choose to support them because you currently can't support them, right? Other than going on a Patreon or something, but they can't gate their content if they want to make good content.
Yeah,
That's true.
and we're
Yeah.
going to get into this a lot later. I think everyone has a lot to say on this one, so we'll hold that.
Moving on.
Moving on, we have more Blizzard news coming from Hearthstone. Dan, what the hell's going on over there?
Mass Exodus.
Yeah, these guys are dropping like flies.
We talked about one last week, right?
I think we mentioned Ben Brody.
Yeah, and so Hamilton Chu, who's the executive producer, also left.
That's crazy. That's absolutely
Yeah,
Now, the interesting thing, though, is both of those guys' Twitter's accounts pretty much say the same thing about what they're going to be doing in the future. So it sounds like those two are still working together, but on something not Blizzard.
Yep.
Which
is
means they could be coming out with something really cool in
No, I mean,
the semi-near future.
These guys were there at the very front, the very beginning. I mean, they literally created Hearthstone, so it's going to be really cool, regardless of what they move on to. I'm sure it's going to be really, really good.
Yep.
And
Yeah. Yeah, no, I
And-
agree.
I mean, this was launched. It was launched in 2014, but I read something about how they started work on it like some stupid amount of time
10 years
before
ago.
that. Yeah,
Wait,
it was
wait,
like 10
what's
years.
It's 2014 already. It's already been that much time since the game launched.
Yeah, it's been out
Crazy, isn't it?
4 years.
Man, it's crazy. I keep getting reminded of stuff like that. You know, like
okay, I'm gonna.
crazy.
This is gonna kill our time, but me and my wife were driving yesterday and listening to music, right? And a cover of Offspring's "Gone Away" came on.
Oh yeah, it's a great song.
Yeah, it's 21 years old.
It gets
Wait,
ranked.
no, it's not.
It's
Don't-
21. It's
Don't
20
mess with my head.
I am not messing with your
can't-
head.
I can't
It's-
deal with
That
that.
Well,
song
no,
is
just-
21
and
years old.
This was a
Just
few
about as old
years.
as I am.
It was a few years ago that I saw a maybe it was on NPR. There was an interview with the kid who was the baby on the front of the Nirvana
Yep.
album, and he was like
Oh.
in college
Yep.
or he graduated college. Maybe he was either going to or
Yeah.
graduated.
He
from
should be
college.
in his late 20s by now.
Yeah,
I remember
It's
just
ridiculous.
adding one more thing. I remember in it was 2015. I wanted to verify this. Somebody said the Lion King is now officially 21 years old. It's old enough to drink.
Yep.
I realized, but it just came out last.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
You guys are old. All of you are old.
It catches you off guard. It's just ridiculous.
Well, the
Forever, you'll
one
be there.
the
Yeah,
one
you
that-
will have your day.
The one that always kills me is when I realize, you know, my dad liked to listen to the Eagles, was one of the bands that he really liked. So in like the early 90s, we're talking about music from the 70s. Well, now it's going to be 2020. So music from the 90s, like when I play 90s music for my kid, it's going to be older than 70s music that my dad played for me.
And you know what's
Wow.
insane about that to me is that 70s music actually sounds old. It sounded old back in the 90s. 90s
Yeah.
music, like 90s music, like the good 90s music, does not sound old to me.
Yeah,
I
no,
think
I'm the
there's
same
been
way.
less of a shift. Well, some of it's because the music that we like to listen to, at least my opinion and what I listen to, the music that I like to listen to resembles 90s music in some ways.
That's possible.
Popular music now, if you just listen to pop, is very kind of R&B focused. And so I would in some cases say, well, music hasn't changed that much, but I listen to kind of like alt rock kind of stuff.
Yeah.
The popular music that is popular now versus the popular music in the 90s has changed significantly.
That's
I was born in the wrong generation.
yes, you were.
See, to
let's-
add on to that, I think things have things have changed, but I think the same kinds of trends are still there. So going back to like the older music, like 70s, 80s and stuff, it sounded old because we were still catching up on technology. And then by the 90s, really good stereo, and it's only gotten better. But I think every generation of music, the trend is it just absolutely abuses the new effect of the time. So we had reverb back in like the 70s and the 80s. We had synth. You heard that in all the all kinds of rock, and it was great. I love it. And then the 90s, oh god, the 90s. There's so much. I couldn't think too much of the 90s. I know in 2000s. It was to me, we're dominated by dynamic compression, so just really loud music.
Yeah,
that's what I remember a lot. And then 2010s, a lot of like using autotune as an effect rather than as a correction.
Right.
All these fancy things. So it's just the trend is still there. It's just it is different.
Squigger, are you hungry like the wolf?
A bit.
Moving on. Let's get attention grabber back into this because Valve has acquired Firewatch.
Yes, crazy.
Well,
Interesting.
developer.
Yeah, the developer behind their games. So, yeah, that seems like Valve is.
That's Half-Life 3 confirmed.
Half-Life 3.
It's Firewatch. That's Half-Life 3.
It's gonna be a walking simulator. Half-Life 3.
It's the walking simulators that you walk and you just watch Gabe Newell rip the script.
Wait. Guys. We're joking about this, but I got something here. Firewatch has 9 letters, and that's 3 squared.
Oh,
Half-Life 3 confirmed.
I knew it.
Yes.
Or it's the number of decades until the next Half-Life comes out. So it's
right.
Could be either.
Yep. Okay, let's move on to some Battle Royale news, specifically Fortnite. And apparently Ninja had a fairly large event in Las Vegas not too long ago. They played 9 rounds of Fortnite. He won 3 of them, but the whole thing is that they brought in some top-level players and some celebrities as well. And this event shattered the old View record,
which was already
owned by Ninja. It's now up to over 680,000 concurrent users,
which is insane.
At once.
Oh man, that's one way to test your website. That's one way to do it.
Indeed. And this though was like a special event. It was pre-planned. And like I said, he ended up winning 3 of the rounds. And they brought in like this one pro player that was supposed to like come in and make a serious attempt to at least have ending 1v1s with Ninja, and he never placed in the top. Never placed in like the top 40.
Oh wow!
So there are some people that didn't do all that well. But yeah, it was a fairly interesting event. Definitely check that out. I'm sure there's some VODs somewhere. And also with Fortnite, a place called Ashland University is offering scholarships to Fortnite players.
Awesome.
This upsets me greatly. This upsets me very much.
Why does this upset you?
Because I'm a video game player. That's all I did in school. If I knew I could get a scholarship to college or whatever by playing video games, maybe I would have actually done something about it. Maybe I have a real life, maybe a job by this point.
Playing video games or being an analyst.
I gotta tell you, in high school, I did a lot of Ultima Online, and my blacksmithy skill was fantastic. And I wish that translated into a scholarship. You're like, look at my blacksmithy. Oh crap, he's a grandmaster. Yeah, here's your full ride. It's
bypass apprenticeship. You're good to go, man. Come on.
Yeah, seriously. Here are your tools. Go make some swords.
Yeah, go do it.
You're making how much a year? Yeah, well, I have a high level blacksmith skill.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
All right. And we have some Nintendo news, of course. Nintendo Switch has been found to have an exploit that allows you to hack it. This exploit is hardware based.
I'm so satisfied by that too.
So cool. Yeah, I've been following this story. So what they managed to do was to bypass what the hell is it called?
He's been following it so closely, guys.
I have, but then you call me out. Well, I jumped
You called
there.
yourself out. You jumped right in.
Okay.
You were like ready to like
So what
knock
it
it out of the
does,
park, and you
it-
swung on strike 3. I mean,
Boot rob.
Starts out the required pin needed to activate the recovery mode. So it essentially bypasses everything with the startup, and then you can upload your own boot ROM to it.
which makes
No.
this exploit unpatchable. You cannot get around it with software.
Purely hardware, yes. Now, and I forget who brought this up, but that does bring up some interesting questions for Nintendo as far as how soon are they going to start trying to push out new hardware?
Oh, I'm sure they are already.
Yeah.
So this is Nintendo we're talking about.
They
Dan.
fixed it yesterday.
Gonna
Hold on.
Nintendo.
Yep. Thank you.
I think the best part about this too is that if I remember correctly, because I follow Reddit.com emulation. That's that subreddit, and it broke there when I first read about it. And one of the things that worked against Nintendo is that, funnily enough, as a developer, Ron, that NVIDIA is so good with their documentation on their hardware, they found it via that documentation because they documented their hardware so well. Because the Switch is really just a balanced NVIDIA shield in terms of hardware. It's Tegra, CPU, GPU, and all package. And it's documented so well, they just looked at the documentation that was online and went, oh, and they found it. And then that's why I'm so satisfied by that, because it's actual documentation actually working against Nintendo. It's so fun.
When has documentation in the development industry ever
Useful.
yielded anything useful? This
You
is
know-
like the first.
Yeah.
So the thing with like hardware, people think about software so often, right? That's how they really think about their systems, unless they're a hardware developer or they are a software developer that depends a lot on the hardware that they're working on the platform. I saw a white paper the other day that showed that you can take a hardware like cryptocurrency device that is not cold storage, but is what do they call it? Air gap, right? It is not connected to the internet. It is not connected to Wi-Fi. It is not connected to any kind of network whatsoever. And if it's compromised, they can get it. They can steal the crypto off that piece of hardware by doing things like energizing the USB pins in such a way that it creates like a ultrasonic signal that can be picked up by a nearby device.
Jesus.
Wow.
Like, you don't think about any of this kind of stuff on a normal basis, but like these guys figured out that you short this specific pin and you dump this code and you now compromise the hardware. So that's just crazy stuff. I mean, hats off to the people who figured this stuff out.
Yeah,
Pretty
it's
amazing.
nuts. That's the crazy.
Clearly, we need to destroy technology to prevent this.
Exactly.
All
Destroy
technology has to go.
EMP pulse, let's go.
Let's do it. I'm waiting for the next like major X-class flare to just knock everything out. That'd be.
Except my Sega Genesis, that could stay. I mean,
Just make sure it's not plugged in. There you go. And more Nintendo news. Shintaro Furukawa is retiring. He's the current president, I believe.
yes, he is.
Yes, he's the
No,
current
no,
president.
he's the new one. Kimishima is stepping down.
Well, I got it backwards. Apparently, I got it backwards. But
Yeah,
That's right.
Tatsumi Kimishima is stepping down, and Shintaro Furukawa is stepping up.
yep. So
And
there you
then I have another piece of Nintendo news.
Uh-oh.
I forgot to post up here, but somebody actually had found an emulated version of the old NES golf game hidden on
Yes!
the Nintendo Switch.
Oh wow.
go. Yes.
So
Huh.
what's interesting about this is it can only be played one time a year. You can only activate it by doing a very specific motion on your Switch. And if your Switch has ever been connected to the internet, you cannot reset the date to play it whenever you want.
Yep.
So it's almost hard-coded into the system.
They're going to dump it somehow. I have a feeling, but that's
We'll figure
smart.
it
But why?
It's
it's an
supposed to
Easter
be in memory.
It's an Easter egg, is all it is.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that one Easter egg. I think it was in Halo 3, where on a certain date, it'll show like something or other in one of the like loading screens. I don't remember what it was specifically.
According to a December 27th article from last year, Switch's hidden Iwata tribute removed in latest update. They may have
wow.
they may have added it back though. I don't see anything.
Okay.
Yeah, who knows? More console news this time on the Xbox. Xbox now allows you to link to your Discord account for the purpose of you browse your friends list on the server you're on, and you can see somebody's on the Xbox playing, I don't know, NBA 2K or something. And, oh, I got that game. I want to go play. And
It's a cool feature.
yeah, it's
pretty cool.
It doesn't look like you can link in for actual chat and stuff. But
No,
Well,
but it will show other people what you're playing, and it's a pretty simple API too. I mean, it's having written a couple bots, I know how to do that from a bot perspective. So this probably was a very low a low impact thing for Microsoft to add that might get more people playing their console. So there you go. Moving on to actual sports ball.
Okay.
This coming from our buddy Tic Tac Faux here. Amazon is in a deal with NFL to air Thursday night football games on Twitch.
Free of charge. Well, assuming you have.
I'm not mad at this. I mean, if it were on network television that I couldn't otherwise watch, and I don't watch a ton of football, but honestly, having watched Julia Child and Bob Ross with Twitch chat, I would love to watch NFL games with Twitch chat.
That is about the only reason I would ever want to watch a actual regular season.
Like
NFL.
What memes would come out of this? It'd be amazing.
I watched more Yu-Gi-Oh on Twitch when they did the marathons than I ever did the entire time it originally aired from the 1990s into 2000s. It's because of Twitch chat. Because I watch Twitch chat, you get to watch the memes, you get to watch them react, and they have their own culture, and it's really hilarious. And just the mass, the mass, for lack of a better word, shit posting just on chat, and it's just funny. and that's what makes so many events, and I can't wait to see what they do for the NFL. It's gonna be so bad.
Penth already giving us a preview of what's going to be happening in our Twitch chat. He's not wrong. Although you need to space out the ruin. It's one letter per word.
Well, yeah.
Well,
but see, what I wonder though about this,
champs and shit. Yeah.
What I wonder about this though, just one thing that strikes me is what's going to be the rules on hosting, rehosting. Being able to host the NFL channel on your channel, and Dan's Gaming can play the feed of the Twitch channel on him, and he's just sitting there making commentary on it. Are they going to allow that? And then how often are they going to do commercials? How bad is it going to be? It's just a lot of things I want to see happen.
Well, and since you brought up chat, I do have to wonder: is this a bunch of executives that just go, "Hey, this thing's kind of popular. Let's do this," or do they actually know what's going to come?
You know what they're going to do? They're going to do the same stuff that the Overwatch League's been doing. I'm sure that a lot of things that's happening Overwatch League, not necessarily having all the extra stuffs, but if you donate so many bits, you get X prize, or you can subscribe, and now you can use your favorite NFL team as an emote in someone else's channel.
Yeah,
which that's a big thing. People love that,
and they may even push it further with Blizzard has a lot of Twitch Prime stuff, so maybe they'll be like, if you watch and if you cheer, then you'll get an icon for Hearth or for heroes of your favorite NFL team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool.
I hope the executives know what they're doing. I hope they do.
I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like this seems pretty forward thinking. We'll see how it works out. NFL season, of course, will start in September. So moving on to the NBA, the Milwaukee Bucks. We've talked about this before, Dan, I believe, with their NBA 2K League team.
Mm-hmm.
It's a team sponsored by the Milwaukee Bucks, and it sounds like that the season is underway for that. Looks like they're going to be playing. Oh, what the heck happened?
Fear the deer.
Nice. Oh, boo! Subscribe to get the full story. Thanks.
Oh.
Whoa.
Anyway, so who cares? Moving on. Milwaukee
we don't
business
talk
journal.
real life.
Sports ball, yeah.
Yeah, who added that anyway? Someone in that red font. I don't know. But yeah, moving on. And something that a couple people posted regarding the whole ruling from Belgium. Me and my wife was like, "Hey, you guys covering this week?"
Yeah, that's crazy.
Video game gambling is officially banned in Belgium, and there could even possibly be fines and prison penalties coming for people from EA, Blizzard, Valve. This is apparently
Guess
serious.
they can never go to Belgium.
Right.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't think the U.S. is going to extradite somebody
No.
for
That'd be
making
awesome.
a game with loot boxes.
No.
No, actually, the article I linked also in the discussion here. They identified that the loot boxes in Overwatch, FIFA 18, and Counter-Strike Global Offensive, those meet the criteria for a game of chance. What becomes gambling? That's crazy. And they said they got scot-free because they made the changes to Battlefront 2 to not make it as much of a game of chance. So it's huge. I think that's really huge. And I think that's going to set everything in motion, at least in the EU. I think it's going to be looked at more, and it's gonna make waves. And then at that point, companies have to think, okay, if we're going to start targeting our game of gambling, do we want to write this whole different system for Belgium, or not Belgium, but for Europe? Do we just set it the same way everywhere else? So I don't like loot boxes too much, and I'm kind of glad that there's now a check in place, even if it's minor at the moment, to just to make these companies rethink their strategy.
And I can certainly see this being just a global change, in their games instead of just European versions or whatever.
Yeah.
I agree.
So,
yeah, it sounds like basically gaming has overstepped their bounds, and governments are taking notice.
Yeah,
and so something's going to have to give at some point. So,
although I do see a market for an opportunity for a video game company located solely in Nevada. And
how about a whole city of video game places?
Just a whole city where you can play loot box video games.
Well, am I the only one that sees the irony in all this? That government's finally stepping into gaming for a good reason instead of quite the opposite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm still thinking about making that casino full of loot box games. Shoot, make it. I don't know, like Vegas.
Just take it somewhere in the desert, a place no one's ever heard of. Like, there might be like some nuclear testing nearby. Just make some spectacle out of it. You can have like these great shows around it and stuff.
I'll go in half with you.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there we go.
Sounds pretty fun.
Let's build a city.
Hey, we got more. Hey, we got more people getting prison time here. This time, this is in connection to PlayerUnknown Battleground cheating programs.
Yes. Thank God.
Yeah. So 15 have been arrested. Fines have been handed out for a total of over $5 million. And this is for various what says there says there's like 15 major suspects. I believe they're all in China. And yeah, it's a big deal. They're cracking down on this.
Which is great. Yeah.
Great.
So if you cheat in the video game, you get fined $5 million.
No. The people who are distributing that creating and distributing the cheat, they're getting fined.
Oh, I see.
Thrown in jail for it.
And also the
cheat, not just for cheating.
Yeah. Well, and on top of it, the developers also have put a virus in the hacks, and we're using them to create botnets.
That's also pretty big.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, with any malware, you almost expect that these days.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can do what you want to do in a single player. I don't care, but don't cheat in multiplayer.
I think we're at a turning point though, where video games have, at least certain genres of video games have become big enough where this is actually a viable market. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And anything to give you a leg up on the competition in multiplayer. And I'm glad they're taken down because it's going to set a precedent in the future.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So last bit of news that we have revolves around a company called Daybreak Games, also formerly known as Sony Online Entertainment. And apparently there's a lot of controversy going on with this right now. Basically, they got sold off a while back, and it's come to light that one of the people got sold to is part of a Russian oligarchy. And there's a lot of interesting things going on with, like, Daybreak is rescinding a press release from a few years ago because, oh no, we never had anything to do with this, even though we put out a press release saying that yes, we did. And then on top of that, they've also laid off a undisclosed number of employees. They're still going to be supporting their games, but interesting stuff going on in Daybreak. We don't have the whole story on this yet.
What games do this company make?
Well, they were formerly known as Sony Online Entertainment, so we're talking about H1Z1.
Okay.
Planet Side 2, EverQuest 2, games like that. So, yeah. So, Columbus Nova is the company or the holding company, I guess, that they were mentioned, that was mentioned a number of times in their press release back in 2015. And, that company is apparently owned by some kind of Russian oligarch. So, not quite sure what this is about just yet. And Daybreak is denying a lot of things that have come out, but it's really interesting stuff.
I didn't realize Sony Online got sold off, and that kind of makes me sad because the EverQuest 2 was actually a really good MMO.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. I mean, honestly, it's one of those. It just makes me want to go kick Sony because I think that was a dumb decision, and I feel bad because these games now are getting just tossed around all these companies. In this case, to an oligarch and then sold off somewhere else. So it's really unfortunate.
Yeah,
indeed. So that does it for our regular news. Unless you guys have anything else.
Yes.
I was just going to say it has been 17 days since
20.
Overwatch.
It's 20. It was 13 last week, wasn't it?
Well, the article that I pulled up was from the 11th, but it's been between 2 and 3 weeks since an Overwatch player has been kicked off the team for horrible conduct,
which is almost a league record at this point.
That's like that's like 2 Scaramucci's.
Oh God.
Speaking of Overwatch League, the Dragons almost got their first win today. They went to a game 5 with Philadelphia Fusion, but ended up getting knocked out pretty hard. And it will be hard for them to get another win because they're playing or to get any wins because they are playing the top teams this week. Shanghai total 0-28 so far in the first 3 stages. Not looking too good for them. Boston Uprising is now at the top of the list, 8-0. New York still second, 7-1, holding on. And both Los Angeles teams, 3rd and 4th, with the Valiant just 1 game ahead of the Gladiators. Although the Gladiators, if I recall correctly, did take a game off the Valiant. So we'll see how that goes.
Still a Valiant fan.
I believe they're going to be wrapping up next week, is week 5. So that'll be the final week. And then they'll also have the 4-team tournament, which will be happening on Sunday, May 6th. That's when stage 3 will conclude. Definitely check that out over on Overwatch League. And just a note, for League of Legends, the MSI Mid-Season Invitational will be starting up this Thursday, May 3rd. So check that out as well. It's going to be pretty interesting. A lot of teams I've never heard of in here, but a lot of teams you probably know pretty well. So definitely worth checking out.
Squega, you had something else, I think?
I don't think so. I was just kind of like browsing through, and I don't know. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the IQ player? Probably not.
The IQ player?
Okay, so a little bit of backstory. Nintendo, it's a Nintendo brand. It's literally just you take the N64, it's the IQ player. You have the 3DS, it's the IQ DS, and it was Nintendo's way of entering the Chinese market back in 15 years ago, just ages ago, back in '99. That's how they actually got in the market. And it originally was a separate company that was a joint venture between Nintendo and another Chinese company. Then eventually Nintendo bought it, and they still market in China under the IQ player. Well, they finally just dumped. What was it? IQ? Yeah, IQ N64 games dumped after 15 years. The encryption on it the DRM had been undefeated up until recently, and the emulation community just finally got the games off. And pretty much you take Mario 64, it's a Chinese version. I mean, it's really what it is. And the consoles themselves look very different than the international counterparts. So it's a very fascinating console, and just a line of consoles. And I thought that was pretty cool because they actually mentioned that the Chinese was faster for Mario 64. So maybe we'll start seeing a shift where speedrunners using the Chinese version of the game. So we'll see.
Very nice. All right. So that means we are done with the news section. We're going to move on to the next part. Boom. It's the playlist. Show, what have you doing?
Oddly enough, I've gotten into God of War, which is just a ton of fun.
Heard that this game is amazing. What type of game is this?
It's
Oh my goodness.
it's not like the old God of Wars. It's almost more of an adventure. I can't even call it a beat 'em up. It's hard to describe.
It's a cinematic experience. It's probably the best way. It's
Dark
wonderful.
Souls.
It's absolutely beautiful. It's a well done game. So I'm really enjoying the hell out of that. I don't like the fact that Kratos has a kid, but whatever, Pardon me for.
I mean,
having an
technically,
opinion.
he's had a kid before,
He doesn't.
but that one is dead, and their ashes now cover his body.
Right.
Oh yeah.
But-
Not disturbing at all.
That's a thing.
Yeah, no, that is a thing.
Also,
but-
I wonder if
correction,
he's-
he doesn't have a kid. He has a boy. So
Oh yeah, boy.
Boy.
Everything's boy.
yeah, it's. I think they said 100. He says boy 147 times in the whole game.
There's a
boy.
supercut video on YouTube where they take every time he's ever said boy, and they just kind of cut it together, and it totaled out to about 147. But I think there's a section in the game where you can press square to say his name to try to find his location or something. So you theoretically could sit there and just mash square, have him go boy, boy, boy.
Yeah. It's a little weird, but
But I think
it's a good game.
In terms of cinematics and there isn't really a cinematic. It's mostly just in engine, but it's
I
all
read it's
just
really good to
100%.
play with like the HUD off.
Yeah,
Like you just
Thanks,
turn
man.
off everything and play it like a movie.
I've heard that too. I haven't tried it. I'm
I've
also
watched
playing
the
it on
whole game.
super easy just because I'm a pansy. But
I
you
watched. I watched a lot of people on Twitch playing it. I have a PS4 Pro and I want to get it. I'm going to get it soon and play it. Even though I know everything about the game, I still want to play it. And
Yeah.
it's just that good. And everybody did something different. All the streamers did something different. I think the funniest stream I watched was Admiral Baru because he made his sub notification Kratos saying "boy." So he just
God.
oddly timed "boy" in the middle of a cinematic, or just it threw me off because I thought he's saying "boy" an awful lot, and then eventually I caught on and went oh. But yeah, it's a beautiful cinematic adventure experience, and it blows my mind that the hardware that this is playing on is probably mid-end at this point, like maybe
Yeah.
mid-end in terms of on the graphic scale, low end on the processor scale.
Yep.
And it's crazy when you look at God of War 3, and it was the best that they could do at the time. And I remember at the time thinking that was amazing. And
Oh,
then
yeah.
you look at God of War 4 and they went, wow, they actually fixed almost everything. How are we going to move on from here
Yeah.
in terms of graphics? But just everything they did was perfect, in my opinion. And the only thing that they there's some hard boss fights and stuff, but I love that game.
Yeah.
Odin, I killed all my gods. Can I kill some of yours?
Right. That's
Kind of it's basically the premise, really.
Spoilers.
right. So other than that though, I've gotten back into my adventure game thing. So I've been playing a bit of Thimbleweed Park, which was done by the same guy who created Maniac Mansion. He was part of the team that did Monkey Island, and this was a fairly newer one done in the old classic style. A lot of fun. And then, of course, I went back to Grim Fandango Remastered, because once you start one adventure game, you got to start playing them all.
Guess
Yeah.
Full Throttle's next.
It's binge
Yeah.
time, yeah.
So, been doing a bit of that. But other than that, that's pretty much it.
Yep. All right. So, attention grabber, what have your birds been playing? Because they're very excited about this part of the show
They're
today.
super excited.
They've been playing Fly Around Like Maniacs and Make as Much Noise as Possible Simulator.
Oh, so Angry Birds.
Oh, run!
I mean,
Yes, I applaud you.
I mean, yeah, I suppose.
That was brilliant.
I mean, that was
I-
easy. That
I
was
had a
too
Zoom
easy.
fight up too, and I was going to say, so pretty much the birds are Twitch chat, but it's not.
Well, They are birds and don't play video games. I'm going to ruin all your fun right now, Ron.
No.
They're birds and they can't play video games because they don't have opposable thumbs. Me though, I haven't.
Give them a touch screen.
Well, if they
need
ever
thumbs
leave
for
their
that.
cage, put them on my phone and see what happens.
You may not want to do that.
Nah, they'll be fine. I have a case on it. If they poop on it, it's just poop on the case.
True facts. I was playing Ingress downtown in San Francisco not too long ago, and one bird got the entire face of the phone.
Oh God!
I wanted to burn the thing. I mean, I don't think any amount of cleaning.
Do you still hold it to your head?
No, I do not. It's disturbing.
no.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, I didn't know.
So, anyways, I played a little bit of Golf with Your Friends today with Squega. Actually,
Right before the
quite
cast,
fun. He's beat me all 3 times we've played so far.
Well done, Squigga.
It's been pretty close. The last one we both got a hole-in-one, and it ended up in him beating me just barely.
Yeah, by
Just
2.
barely.
By 2, yeah, that's crazy.
I haven't played very much, but I've played Cuphead a little bit more. Still trying to get that S rank on the bosses. I'm working on the train boss right now, and that one's hard.
Oh, that one's rough.
You're pretty close to finishing.
Well, I'm not doing it in like order. I've beaten the game already, but I'm just going through on expert mode trying to S rank all the bosses.
Got it. Okay.
And the train is a really hard one. It's been forcing me. The second phase is the one that gets me. That's when it's just a skull and 2 hands, but his hitbox is really big, and so if you get even the slightest bit close to him, you get a hit on and you have to restart.
Yep. I remember watching
can't-
Squigga struggle with that part.
Yeah,
that was
it is. Plus when the train gets up on its own legs and starts walking, that phase is also really hard. But I'm still working on it. I've also played Crysis 2 from all the way back in however long ago it came out.
That game still kills computers, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, the graphics on this game are even by today's standards, it's amazing. The game came out 7 years ago, 22nd March 2011, and the game still looks gorgeous. Like it looks better than some games I've played like from last year.
Wow.
Very nice.
It's amazing how good the game still looks. I was thinking to myself, man, I feel like playing a shooter. I feel like shooting some stuff. And I figured, do I play Call of Duty Black Ops 1 or do I play Crysis? And I thought, let's play Crysis.
Yeah.
Had some trouble with it. One of the programs Windows Defender wrongly thought was a virus, and so I had to allow that multiple times. But I got it running, and I've been having a lot of fun with it again. Besides that, what else have I played? I think I finished Deep Space Waifu in one day. Got most of the achievements in that.
I'm
I
proud
don't
of
know
you.
whether to congratulate
Star
you
Trek
or
Deep
just
Space
yeah, there we go.
I also played Risk of Rain a little bit. Still trying to work on, breaking the whole thing again. It's a lot harder when it's just you and not the bandit.
I keep forgetting I own that game. I should play that more.
Well,
It's a lot of
maybe
fun.
you could join us before a cast, one of the podcasts, and then.
Me and Greg have been trying to set up like every weekend before the podcast. We can play a little bit of games.
Oh, you can play it online. I did not know that.
This is multiplayer.
That's really fun online. Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah, I played Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 for a while. I didn't want to unlock everything, so I downloaded a save file because I'm the worst human.
Good for you.
Almost smashed my PB in Necrodancer. Then I got fed up and quit. I think I was on. Oh shoot! Where did I say I was? I was during your stream, Squig. I was at 5-3 at like 5 minutes as Melody.
Ooh.
Wow.
5:38, I think, and then I got boxed in and died.
That would have squished both our times, Swigga.
Oh, bad. Yeah, really bad.
It would have smashed my time. My time's currently like an 8 something.
Yeah, your time would have been like top 20, I think.
Yeah, and I got so upset. I was just like, I'm done. I'm not.
That would have been amazing. Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, getting full surrounded
geez,
on melodies.
What was the build? It was I think it was Miner's Cap and Squigga suit with the blue shovel. I was just going through the entire game so quickly. I was like, oh hey, I might actually do this. And then as soon as I said that, I got surrounded. I think it was the dragon and a Medusa, I think. I don't remember. But it was enough to get me, and then I had used my bombs trying to kill Deep Blues quickly.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
was so
bombs
upset.
and melody are pretty important for a lot of things, including
Yeah,
boss kills.
I might go back and try it again. I've been while I'm extremely upset that I managed to blow that so hard. I think I might go back and try again because I'm getting pretty confident that I can do it.
Yeah,
I also
awesome.
I played a little bit of Slay the Spire. I did a completely insane run. Did the daily. It was one of the daily things was that your deck is now one copy of each of the rare cards, and for every card you gain, you instead gain 2 extra. So essentially, my deck was 3 of all of the rare cards.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
it turned into I have 999 strength build because I kept picking up double strengths. It was a lot of fun. That's all I've been playing, I think.
Right.
Yeah, should be.
Squega, what have you been up to?
What have I been up
Other
to?
than trying and failing at the tempo phasing world record.
Well, yeah, I kind of gave that one up a little bit, but so yeah, obviously because I stream Necrodancer as my main game, I'm doing a lot of Necrodancer, and last couple weeks were very productive. I got rank 3 on story mode. No, wait, rank 3? I got like rank 1 or 2 or 3 on
It was
story
3
mode.
because
Yeah,
I was
3.
3 and you beat me.
That's right. Oh. Yes. Okay. Good job, me. So, yeah. So I got rank 3 in story mode. I got, I think, also rank
That was
3
the 9
on.
character version, right? That wasn't 13.
No, 9 character. Yeah, 9 character as well. I'm gonna be going for 13 soon. I'm gonna schedule another Saturday to just spend 6 hours doing it because
Good luck, because Mary's a good character.
Yeah, I learned that very quick because the double M combo, which is Monk and then Mary, and you have to get through both, and that's always tough. So I actually got the Nocturna phasing world record this week. It was I didn't expect it. It was 7. I think I got a 707 or something, 713, and that currently is rank 1. So if anybody wants to take it, go ahead. And then I got a bunch of PBs and a bunch of stuff, and so it's been very productive in that. Also, in the last 2 weeks, I finished my first 4 island hard mode clear of Into the Breach, and that was a absolute blast. I had a very good carry run, and I've been trying very hard for that. And I can't recommend that game enough. It's a ton of fun. When you want to just sit down and think like you're playing chess spend 20 minutes on a turn, that's your game. It's so fun. And then in addition to that, I've been playing a lot of Heroes of Hammerwatch. That game is also stupid fun. And what they did, essentially, if for those who are uninitiated about it, if anybody has played Hammerwatch, a game from 2014. They took that, they kept the same general formula, and they turned it into more of a roguelike. So now you have smaller floors, but they're randomly generated, and you have still the same areas in terms of themes, and you have bosses, and you have stats. You can level up your heroes, you get random items on your run, and they did a lot of really cool stuff. So it's kind of like Diablo, but they added some really cool tweaks to it. And it's a absolute blast. My wife and I have been playing it, and then she's been playing it with one of her friends, and I want to start playing with other people. And I think that's been that in general. I have more things planned, but yeah, that's been what I've been playing a bunch.
Very cool. All right, Dan.
So I finished Witcher 3 this week after 3 years. The only thing that I left undone, huh?
I don't think it's been that long. I know you've been playing it a long time, but
well, I guess I didn't buy it when it came out, so probably about 2 years. I've been playing kind of on and off, and I didn't go for every achievement and everything, but I think I did every single quest except to get every single Gwent card, because there were a couple I was missing that supposedly were from random merchants or whatever. But I was going around finding merchants that I hadn't gotten cards from, and they weren't giving me cards.
no.
And I read that there's not exactly a bug, but if you play a merchant and then you lose the game, which I was doing occasionally when I first started playing the game because I didn't really understand it, it locks them into being the person that gives you that card. So then you have to go back and find out which guys that you've lost Gwent to. And I wasn't going to do that because it would basically necessitate that I found a list of every single person in the game that played Gwent, and go play Gwent against every single one of them. And I enjoyed Gwent, but I'd rather play the GOG version that has better rules and everything. Mm-hmm. So except for that quest, I did every single thing. I actually streamed quite a lot of the end of it. Sirsky was watching that, so thanks for watching that stream. But actually, electrical skateboard was also watching part of that. So
Electrical skateboard is a bot.
Well, thank you, Electrical Skateboard Bot, for watching my stream.
They're very smart bot for watching your stream. Huh?
Yeah,
See?
apparently Electrical Skateboard is supposedly hosts small streamers every so often. Despite it being in my chat for the majority of the last year, I have never gotten a host from it once.
Same here. Actually, same here. It's crazy.
Well, I need some more followers, so Sersky, get some of your friends to follow me so that you can throw bits at me.
Nice.
Anyway, so I just, I like everyone says, honestly, Witcher 3 probably top 3 games of all time that I've ever played. It's enormous amounts of content, great story, et cetera, et cetera. It was interesting. Like by the end, I was, and this was just on regular game on normal mode, basically. I was just destroying everything in my path. I had like Grandmaster armor and basically Excalibur and another great sword, and it was all ruined up, and I had all the best oils, and I was using potions that made me like crazy badass.
Oiled up, Dan?
I was all oiled up. I had oil on my sword.
Does Coles know this?
I had oil all over my sword.
All over.
And I was using like
a
a very like overpowered alchemy build. Like it was insane. And I just cut down anything in my path. But then on the last fight, I was getting wrecked. Like it took me a lot of tries to get the last fight down. And it was just really interesting that some games have, bosses should be harder than other fights. But I found that some games, like there's a huge gap between like normal fighting and then when you get to the boss. So if you do play, be prepared. And this is the final in Blood and Wine in the DLC.
Cool.
Yes, Cable Monkey. So I would play that. When I finished that, I started playing the Magic Circle, which it won some awards a number of years ago. Kind of like I talked about Beginner's Guide being about the relationship between kind of reviewers and gamers and developers. Magic Circle is about the relationship between developers and players. It hit a lot of buttons of things. No, I'm not going to spoil it. And I did actually, I played 2 endings of Witcher 3, and I guess I read that there's a 3rd ending for the second DLC. So if things turn to shit, I would go back to a save game and play further. But if you played Witcher 3, that can happen. Well, there's 10 endings from the base game. Anyway, Magic Circle, it hit a lot of hot buttons from when I was a admin on Ikea. Ron, it's something you might get a kick out of.
What's this called?
It's called the Magic Circle. It's basically about a developer who created a game and then 10 years later is still working on the sequel that still has not ever come out. And there's a lot of like little floating changelog things that you can go in, and it's like, I saw that some of our beta testers weren't able to find the path. Can you please make it a little more obvious? And if you look, there's like a bunch of signs that say this way and have like a bunch of arrows pointing down.
Oh, wow.
And it's like, I don't think that, and then the person responds in the changelog, like, I don't think that that's really in line with, how the area looks. And he goes, don't care, I'm keeping it.
Oh,
So that's basically how it was in IKEA. Like if people couldn't figure things out, I literally put a sign over a button or something and said like, push this, pull this. Like players would just not figure out what they were supposed to be doing. Not a bug, it's a feature, exactly.
Wow.
But it's pretty fun. It's funny. It's got Ashley Birch, whatever her name is. Hey Ash. It's got her voice, vocal talents in there.
Ashley Birch.
I knew all those letters were in there, but I wasn't sure what order they were
Come on,
in.
she's Tiny Tina, for Christ's sake.
She's a lot of things.
That's true.
Yeah.
Works in dev operations problem now. It absolutely was. And also some Saints Row 4. I've kind of just been going in and out of that. Saints Row 3 was really the last one where it was. I mean, Saints Row 4, you just quickly get stupid overpowered, and it just turns into a fun fest. Which they've all been just fun and silly, but it gets ridiculous. And if I'm going to be ridiculous like that, I kind of want to go back. I don't know if I own it anymore, but Prototype 1 and 2.
Prototype 1 is so much better than 2.
Yeah,
Agreed.
There's some good games about being like a
so
god
much
and
better.
just kicking ass.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And I think that's it for this week.
Very cool. All right. So before I get into my list, the one thing that I wanted to plug was I was actually in San Jose today for what's called the USP. I don't remember what the last letter is, but basically it's a national Pump It Up Prime tournament, which is like a successor to Dance Dance Revolution. And the reason I was there was not to play because I would just fall flat on my face if I tried. But I
I'd pay to see that.
I actually found out about this event from a guy, a couple of, I know Swega knows Kitty Catastrophe from the Necrodancer community, and got to meet him, got to meet Zello off chance. Didn't even know he was going to be there until today. And yeah, it was a pretty fun event. I've learned that Pump It Up Prime is clothing optional.
Oh.
Yeah, it was a little awkward. There was kind of like someone, they were dressed in drag there and they were doing a routine, and by the time the routine was done they were wearing nothing but panties and what looked like a wrestling championship belt around their chests. It was
Was there a stream of this?
interesting. There is a stream of this. Twitch.tv/NorCal World Order. NORCAL World Order.
Type it right now. Type it right now. No,
Yeah, I'm sure there's like a million clips of it too.
yeah.
I mean, it was
Ron's gone.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh,
there he
we go.
is.
yeah, something
Ron?
happened. Yep,
Okay.
it was me.
Hey, this part got too hot for us to handle. Ron's like,
Right.
You know what?
I mean,
Yeah.
the internet said, "Whoa, whoa."
But it's
Whoa,
good to
man.
meet. It's good to meet him, especially since he's East Coast. So I probably never would have met him otherwise. So pretty cool. As far as games I've been playing, I've been collecting more strawberries and Celeste, yelling at Madeline the whole time. Poor girl. It's not her fault. Really,
It
it's
is
not.
now.
Except when she bounces off the corner when she's not supposed to, or she hangs on a wall that she's not supposed to. Fuck her then. But yeah, I've been collecting a lot of berries. And then I go to watch streams like TGH play this game, and he's just going through and finishing the game in like 40 minutes, getting all strawberries. It's like, what have I done wrong with my life? But yeah, so there's that. No, I don't want a list, dear. Rude. So yeah, I had a 6 Degree of Freedom stream a little earlier this week, played Overload a bit, got a couple of decent
Run.
scores on it.
You're
Yeah.
glancing over the fact that it's purely particle porn. We established
Sure.
this.
What?
Overload.
Oh, Overlord. Oh yeah, Overload. Yeah, particle porn. I think you coined that term, did you not?
No, it wasn't me. It was someone else.
Someone else.
But-
Somebody called it particle. I may still have it if I scroll back up. Was it Lotharbot
It might have been.
that called it that? Because it was pretty funny. Yeah, particle porn, indeed. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's going to be coming out full release on May 31st. So if you're into Descent like games, this would be a good time to pick it up over on Steam. It's still in early access. You can play the challenge modes, but the story mode's going to come out with the full release as well as multiplayer. So definitely check that out. Sublevel Zero of Redux, of course, going to be playing that at SGDQ in June. So I'm practicing for it. And once again, it seems like another week goes by, another world record falls. Not only did I break sub 17 or sub 18, but I broke sub 17 as well. So
Holy
16:59 is now the world record in that game.
Nice.
And I've kind of been getting pushed to get better at it because there is, like I keep talking about this Mr. Wax guy. He's got his time down to 25 minutes. So he's the
Uh-oh.
first person to have less than double my time. So I'm kind of a little worried. So
So there's even potential for a GDQ world record.
I can't wait for that to happen.
Yeah.
When you
I
finish it
don't
and go,
think
"Hey, what
I'm
was the
going to be
time?"
playing. I don't think I'm going to be playing risky at GDQ.
No,
Yeah.
No,
I
you should do
finished
it, definitely.
that 16:59 run. I ended on 15 health. You start with 100.
Yeah, that's
Nice.
not very much.
That's not
Nice.
very much at all. That's like on that particular reactor. That is a split second. That's getting stuck on one wall from death.
Oh wow.
That's how low that is, and it's very easy to get stuck on like the floor if you're like I like to stick to the floor, but there's some like little geometry features on the floor that cause you to get stuck, and if I had hit one of those, it would have been done. In fact, I almost lost it while the reactor was exploding. I lost like most of my health then. So
is there a chance of a like an incentive thing like you did at Kellython? Because that was pretty funny to watch.
I might. I have not heard about incentives yet. But yeah, the incentive I did at Calithon, of course, was RAM % on the first level, which basically means you don't use a weapon. So at the start of the level, what I did is I went into my inventory and unequipped and dropped all of my weapons so that I wouldn't even be tempted to fire on them and finish the level. It's kind of a fun, like, that's a 2 or 3 minute run. That's kind of amusing. So maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. And then the last thing, Creeper World 3, still working on that. I'm up to 39 out of 50 of the Torment levels. I did want to give a shout out to Horde of Tribbles, who finally beat a level called Water Neris, which is like the hardest level in the game.
Oh, wow.
It's very difficult to beat. In fact, it's an achievement to beat it, and he's done it. So congrats to him.
Oh, that's crazy.
So that's going to do it. And
one quick thing that I wanted to plug a little bit. There is an I'll call it a utility called Depressurizer, and I don't think I mentioned this now I'm thinking I might have said something about it last week, but it's a Steam app that you basically shut down Steam, you open it up, it imports your saved games from Steam, and it will basically automatically categorize your Steam games for you.
Like how would it be categorized?
However you want. So let me share this.
I'm kind of looking because there's a GitHub for it. GitHub.com/depressurizer.
Yep. So here.
No longer maintained.
Which is fine. It's still it works. So I've got it here. Like here's my stuff. And for example, I specifically had it create categories based on score and how long to beat times. So like if I want a quick game I can finish in 0 to 5 hours based on how long to beat, here are the games that go in there. Or if I want games that are overwhelmingly positive, I can go in there. And I have my own ones too, but it's nice, and you can specify, do you want them pulled out of every category and only put in these categories? Do you want to clear these categories and whatever? And so you can do some pretty granular changes on how you want to do it. And I think it'll like spit out a random game for you based on a certain category or whatever, that kind of stuff. So I just wanted to plug that because it's helped me. That's one of the reasons I chose Magic Circle, is because I was like, I put almost 200 hours into Witcher 3. That was fun, but I need something that I can like be done with, like that I can play and have fun and be done with. And so I would recommend that if you
you're gonna have to send me the information.
Just depressurize.
I'll put it in chat.
Yep.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Actually, I think the closest thing I did this week in regards to that, there's a thing called Enhanced Steam. It's a plugin, and it'll let you go on the site and see how much you spent on games. On the site.
God, I don't even want to see that.
Yeah, it's.
Oh God,
I want my money back.
3,900 Canadian dollars, I think, is how much I spent.
Awesome.
Yeah, I spent roughly 3,000 USD, so it's like pretty much.
Which is about the same as.
Yeah. This is something you have to download, though.
Yeah, it's a plugin for Chrome.
Oh, it's a plugin.
Yeah, it's a plugin for Chrome.
Yeah, the Steam helper thingy.
I use Enhanced Steam for that one, but yeah.
And then what do you do? You just go to Steam Powered.
You go to Steam.
Yeah, you go to the
account.
Website.
Yeah, you go to just your account page, /account, and then it'll show you. It'll change. It's there's a link to say view all your purchase games, your purchase history, and then below it actually adds sadness next to the link.
Thank God.
Sadness.
Yes, it does.
I'm actually scared to even try it because that would just be depressing. The amount that I've spent on my games.
A third of that total price was spent on gifts, so I'm pretty happy about that.
How come you haven't given me one then? I
need a sugar daddy. Go give him a shower with your dad simulator 2015.
I need a sugar daddy.
Show us that waifu game. I've heard.
Of all the people here, show you're the only one who's given me a game, so I don't know what you're complaining about.
Right. I'm usually given, well, I've donated to Veg, but no one ever gives me a game. I'm depressed.
Oh,
Womp womp.
don't worry,
I'm still trying to figure out where you're supposed to go on this.
I'll get you a nice Hatoful boyfriend.
Oh God,
yeah,
no! You don't have to, really. I don't want to take up any of your income.
One or more requests failed.
Hold on a second. So you got the plugin, right, Ron?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
Oh, it doesn't work
because of the new.
Probably because of the new API thing.
Which doesn't work? Are you talking about depressurizer? Or are you talking about
enhanced Steam?
Oh yeah,
it's not working. I'm getting a red exclamation point. So
yeah,
there's also Steam Inventory Helper that I think does some stuff.
Yeah, that helps too. Yeah, I think it also does the same thing. Adds the same amount of sadness.
But I've seen stuff like that before. So
Gauge Power did that, and you could edit the prices, but that of course shut down as well.
Well, yeah.
Although, here's something that we
Steam makes me sad.
The developer of Steam Spy released something saying, the reports of his demise are greatly exaggerated. Basically,
so they're coming up with something.
Yeah, he's finding some ways to do what he needs to do, and his current algorithm, I guess, is better than it was with nothing. But it's still not quite right. So he's gonna keep working on it. But he said he might be back.
Definitely awesome. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and move on. We're gonna move on to I believe this is the third half of the show. Is that right?
Yep.
And this is I know the first half of the show was your favorite, and the second half was your favorite. The third half is just kind of blah, right, Joe?
Yeah. Well, it's kind of my favorite half of the show.
It's just kind of his favorite. This is a 6-gaming round table where we're gonna talk about a question that we brought up a little earlier. And Sho, do you still demand answers from everyone?
I demand fucking answers from everybody. Okay. Yes, you guys in chat, and you guys as our awesome and illustrious co-hosts.
I told you I'd get you a Hatoful boyfriend. I don't know why you want a game so bad, but I'll get you a copy of that.
You don't need to do that. I insist. I hate to take away your valuable money.
On that subject, I actually can't send you gifts. I was going to send you a game, but
yes,
regional differences according to Steam.
The Iron Wall.
All right, here's the question, and this comes from Shozan. Is it okay for companies to sell fan-created content? And Sho, you were pretty pissed about this earlier.
Yes.
You start.
Well, I disagree with it for a few different reasons. I recognize the fact that this is a great way to support the creators, right? This is a really great way for otherwise unknown people to earn recognition for the hard work that they do, let alone a bit of income for the time that they've spent. However, I feel like this is not only the companies exploiting creators, it also, to me, kind of looks like these companies, let's take StarCraft, for example, they've run out of ideas for new maps, or, there are countless examples of regular gamers who end up getting jobs at really good companies to then develop for future games or even current games, right? Where if these guys turn around and you're selling $5 is not cheap to me, right? So for something that somebody creates, it seems excessive, and I can't say as I agree with it. That makes no sense. I get it. I'm just going to stop. But I disagree with it on a fundamental level.
I don't know. It's kind of interesting because the choices are you have a community that mods for free and nobody gets a cut of it, or you have a community that some of it can mod for free and then some of it, hey, we like your stuff, we're going to bring you on our platform, you'll get a cut of the money and we'll make some too. I don't see how this is anything but a win-win.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't seem like it's much of a loss in any sense of the.
Now, to be fair, if it's like, okay, well, I'm the developer. I'm going to give you $1 and sell it for $20. Well, then yeah, screw them.
Yeah, as long as
That's
you're not
what
the,
Blizzard's doing here.
as long as the guy that's making the map, the fan content the creator isn't being like fucked over by the developer of the game, then I'm all for it. As long as everyone's being treated fairly, everyone gets a their fair share, then hey, why the hell not?
And one other thing on that is the nice thing about that is that it's up to each creator to decide for themselves whether the deal is fair. Like, and what I mean by that is that some people may think that a 50-50 cut is more than generous. Other people might think, well, why aren't you giving me 90% for it? And they may decide not to go onto their platform. And I think as long as you have that choice, I think that's amazing.
Oh yeah,
That they even offer it.
it's not like they're taking people's content without permission and saying, "Hey, check out this map we definitely made."
Yeah. Well, and Borderlands says there's a history. It's like Counter-Strike was a Quake 1 mod before it branched off of Half-Life. And Team Fortress was a Half-Life mod before it became its own thing. And Dota was a
Warcraft 3
Map, yeah, fan map.
was a Warcraft map. I mean, there's a lot of instances of things turning into games they're sold separately. Content sold separately.
I think
Aren't Team Fortress and Dota free to play?
Oh, God.
they were.
Cable Monkey asks a nice question. What if the content is dramatically different from the developer's vision of the game? But then he goes on to give an example. Overwatch volleyball.
Oh,
VR
Special edition.
I would spend so much money on that you don't even know.
I mean, I'd be there. Yeah, I won't lie.
What's the game that you have show that your wife got you that you have no idea why she got you? We've talked about it before.
I don't remember.
And it was I don't know. It might have been a volleyball game. I don't know.
Oh no, she got me.
It's like the zombie.
Yeah, that
Something-
lollipop chainsaw, whatever.
Something
it was
like that. Yeah.
fucking terrible. But it's
Wait a minute.
yeah, it's like lollipop chainsaw or some really bad shit like that. But she's a cheerleader, and her entire high school turns to zombies. So you can just picture the biggest, most well-endowed, let's say, cheerleader possible, about as slutty as can be with the chainsaw and all the upskirt and bouncing titties. And yeah, she thought it'd be funny, and it wasn't. It was a terrible game.
That sounds terrible. What was the name of this game so I can avoid it?
Lollipop chainsaw. He is correct.
Yeah.
I wonder how well the game surged in sales amongst the 14-year-old, young boy demographic.
Interesting
Like, oh my
word
God.
there, Swig.
It was only that demographic.
What's the fighting game that has the really well endowed women that they
Dead-
also
Dead or
did a
Alive.
beach
Oh, the
volleyball?
jiggle physics.
Dead or Alive.
Yeah, Dead or Alive.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Beach
I
volleyball.
mean,
I remember that because they actually emphasized in the original game back in the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation, they were really proud of how they got the boob physics to work on the
I'm sure they did.
they would talk about that. I remember that. And I remember watching when the gameplay on these games, and I was like, "Holy crud! It's like pulling taffy." Just like the second they land, it goes dong. And I wasn't like I could have sworn I saw one like ricochet go smack the one ladies in the face because it was just that bad.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would be lying to you if we didn't all team up at one of my friend's house for getting that beach volleyball game. We all had to check it out.
Of course. I mean, you have to do it something like that.
Yeah.
I was curious at how far graphics had advanced. When beach volleyball came out, Dead or Alive beach volleyball. I was like, how well can the Xbox do graphics? That's what I told myself. That's
surprisingly well. I mean,
Yeah. Pretty good.
Indeed.
What were we talking about again? What was the question?
About
Something about
We're talking about boobs, obviously.
this is now jiggle physics. I mean,
No,
How did we get from the round table to jiggle physics?
just really love them.
it is the round table,
Damn.
yeah.
Fuck
Something-
them.
It went way around.
We
Squagga,
got
hold on. Squagga,
We-
this is just for you.
I got one.
Round table.
I can tell you where we derailed, though. We derailed because Cable Monkey mentioned Overwatch Beach Volleyball Special
Yes.
Edition
Oh,
VR.
right.
Extreme.
Thanks a lot, Cable Monkey. Jeez.
This is your fault. We blame you.
How much are they allowed to deviate the content from the original game? I'd say that's up to the developer, probably.
Yep.
Yeah, so I actually wanted to chime in on a more serious note. Chime in on that. So the one thing I think could be I would be cautious about. I think I'll agree partially with Show because okay, so sure, these companies are offering an avenue for people to sell their stuff on their own platform, their own maps, you know, and any mods or anything. But one thing that can happen, and I've seen happen, and that can happen here, is that these companies will now start aggressively pursuing third-party services that offer these for free in order to force people onto their first-party platform, and that can happen. You know, Blizzard is part of Activision, and we know Activision is known for some very, you know, unethical practices. EA could do something very similar, and they can, you know, abuse copyright law to you know, do DCMA takedown, saying, well, this is, you know, ours, it's our game. They made a mod that's not authorized. They have a place they can put it. So I can see that happening. I hope it doesn't, but I think what's going to eventually happen, I think what will need to happen is the reason why these are popular, and I think it's a good thing, is that these map makers are spending, you know, mod makers, map makers are spending a tremendous amount of time on this work and not getting compensated. And this gives them an avenue to pursue this creative, you know, these creative projecs. And
if you think about it, it's no different than Steam, really.
Yeah, it's very, oh, we lost someone.
Rip Pimp.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep. So what's important to keep in mind is that, you know, that's what's important here, is being able to support these content creators. And I think what will happen in the future is we're going to get some sort of third-party service that's going to consolidate all of that. It's going to come in and dominate because I think there's a definite need for it, and it's going to take time. But what's going to happen is somebody's going to offer a platform that's merely an exchange. So people are going to get a better cut. People are going to move to that platform, and suddenly it's going to become like Steam for games. Right. So I think there's that possibility.
I found a way to kind of sum up my feelings, I guess. I equate a lot of this to the oh shit. See, I had it in my head and now I forgot it.
Way to sum this all up.
This is what no. The what was that free music stuff?
Spotify.
No. Go way back.
Napster.
Yes, Napster. Right.
Yeah.
So for me, like, this kind of boils into the same situation, right? Is if you're going to do something, do it for the love of what you're doing. There's one particular mod author and I bring him up all the time for Fallout 4, goes by the name of King Gath. He does very regular updates on his mod. He's constantly adding new stuff. He listens to the team, but he does all of this for free. And he does it because he enjoys the game. He enjoys the mod. He enjoys everything about that sort of stuff. And that, to me, is more art, that it has more feeling in it than somebody who's going to go out and they create something. Yeah, it's a good map, but they are doing this strictly to try to gain monetization. And again, this kind of goes back to the music and the Napster thing. You had Metallica, who makes God knows how much on concerts and tours and actual album sales, but they still had to rage against arguably a fairly smaller loss based on the free
at the
music.
time.
To me, it's I hate seeing monetization for passion projects. And to me, I have a feeling that's the way this is going to go. And I hate seeing that sort of stuff go down.
Well, I mean, that's why I compare this to Steam. I mean, it's no different than somebody who is passionate about creating a really awesome game and then selling it on Steam.
Right. I mean, if you do something, I mean, all the things about find something that you love and then find a way to make money doing it. Like,
but like even Squega said, you know, somebody makes a really good map, let's say, and then somebody kind of creates a clone of it, and then you can just watch as the lawyers descend. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I fear too.
And to add on to that, I mean, I can see one thing at what you're talking about, shows. So let's take journalism for you know, for example. Back in the 90s and obviously in the early 2000s, journalism is vastly different than today. I actually I happen to work, my employer, I'm not going to name them, but they are part of the problem I'm going to highlight, is that what turns out online, what sells a lot, sells well and gets a lot of clicks are clickbait titles. And so with monetization and with a means to monetize things like this, yes, I do see a surge in high quality crap, like maybe polished turds coming in. A lot of people just cloning other maps, trying to make it their own. It happens on the Android Play Store. It happens on the Apple Store, where a good game comes out and you see 5, 6, 10 dozen clones of it with obviously totally not copyright infringing names for them. And it will definitely happen. And I think your worry, show, is that and this is true in general, that when you turn a passion into a job, it takes away that kind of passion. It takes the fun out of it, and it can cause some the quality of some fan favorite projects to suffer. If that's absolutely the case, because if somebody now is making a living doing just making maps, and they actually make a good living, they fall into some routine. It's gonna show. It's gonna be obvious that they're not really putting their heart into it at that point. And I can understand that.
Kind of like I think streamers there.
Yeah, it happens a lot with streamers, actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
It happens a lot with streamers, and it happens in general. And I can see that happening. I think what's going to have to happen, this is like the first step. It's a stepping stone. I think it's good that people can get supported for the stuff. I think a lot of people that some of the best stuff is going to come from those passion projects that just happen to get on that exchange, that store, and then they blow up in popularity. I think that will help a lot, but we are going to see a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Indeed. Anything else anyone wants to add?
Nope.
Nothing.
All mods suck, and no one should make mods or maps for anything ever.
Get out.
No, I mean the ever eloquent Squigga actually summed it up really well. So.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
IR words.
Right.
You're sometimes they're smart words.
So
Most of the time it's bad ideas.
So I went to a thing on Thursday night at my kid's school about teaching your kids self-control. And at one point during the presentation, she was talking about how, the way you talk to your kids becomes like their inner voice. And at one point she's like, ladies and gentlemen, I mean, words mean things. And I was just like,
they do.
Didn't you know words mean things?
I mean, to everyone else, it was like an insightful, it was a
you're just like, you're cracking up, and everyone around you is looking at you oddly, and like, why is he laughing?
All of a sudden, this like very petite older woman just in my head just turned into veg.
Absolutely. God. For those that don't know Veg, I'm sure he'll be around, but he's known for wording poorly.
He words
he does
bad.
Not amp words good.
Yes, he does not.
Me are at words.
Not
me,
good
me
word
speak,
bad.
Me regret.
We're going to wrap this up here, guys. Thank you guys for joining us. We've been and will continue to be the Six Gaming Podcast. You can check us out over on our website at 6.gg. You can find out all about us, including our YouTube archive, our Discord server, and a whole bunch of other stuff that you probably didn't want to know. With that, I'm going to let you guys say goodbye, starting with the bird grabber himself.
Bye. Follow me on Twitch. I stream maybe sometimes, occasionally, when I feel like it.
Awesome. And
I'm convinced.
Okay, I'll let you say goodbye next, but you have to tell us what you're convinced of.
I'm convinced that Grabber it will definitely maybe sort of always in the future stream, and will maybe always sort of kind of be there if I go watch. So definitely make sure to watch that guy. He might maybe sort of be there. So
50% chance.
50%. Okay. 100% of the time he's there half the time. So that's good. So I'm Squigga, and I do memes, and I'm bald. Thank you.
Twitch.tv/Squigga, spelled SQUEGA.
Yes.
Like the Squigga Genesis. Dan.
Well, if we're doing that, you should follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pentharian. I'm not going to spell it because it's just in chat, and if you're watching
many
it,
letters.
It's lots of letters. I need
hold on. 10 letters.
Nope.
10 what?
I have nothing to do with Half-Life 3.
Oh, all right. Fine.
Found your channel.
Yeah. Sirski wants to give me money. And so Pansarian.
Pants.
Look at that. That's
I'm going to take my glasses off for that one.
Yeah. Anyway, it'd be great if you all follow me. So you should follow me on Twitch,
Shosan, save
and on
us.
Instagram, and on Facebook, and on all kinds of places.
Shosan, save us.
I can't. I mean, I'm convinced that I have no idea what attention is grabbing, and I don't want to know.
I just want to throw out thank you, C Sersky, whatever your name is, for the follow. I thank you.
Yeah, and Swag and Tic Tac Foe. You guys are cool. You guys are fast.
Thank you.
We'll have to get Tic Tac Foe on this.
Oh, I
podcast
really
at
look
some
forward to
point.
having him on.
We really need to get him on there.
He actually just got the world record on the pentathlon.
Again,
sub
Wow,
1 hour.
nice.
Sub 1 hour.
sub 1 hour happened.
Sub 1 hour. Yeah,
Holy
one hour.
crap.
Yeah, he actually put on the R Speedrun subreddit.
Well
That's
done.
fantastic.
That's
So
insane. For those that don't know, the pentathlon is basically you play 5 different roguelikes. It's Crypt of the Necrodancer, Spelunky, Nuclear Throne, Binding of Isaac. Is it Afterbirth?
yeah, after plus, yeah.
So there's so many freaking ones I
There are
don't
too
even know.
many.
And Enter the Gungeon, and you got to play those 5 games. Doesn't matter what order you play them in. And just recently, he got under an hour, beating Elad to the punch.
Yep.
I
Elad's not
can't
awesome.
get past like the first level of Enter the Gungeon, so I'm pretty
man.
impressed just at that.
I've gotten to the Foraging Gungeon. I got destroyed by a hammer. It was hilarious. Like this
Yeah,
hammer
it's-
just came out of nowhere and go, dee
Yeah,
smash.
it's
I'm
rough.
dead.
So,
Can't even get off the first floor of Isaac. I mean,
I don't even like Isaac. I don't even have the game.
I need to brush up. on
Although
Throne.
Nuclear Throne, I have yet to beat Little Hunter.
Oh wow, I need to get better at the game. I
Is
actually have a crack. I've played all those games except Nuclear Throne extensively, so I actually want to get into that. I want to get into those runs. So maybe in the future.
Is
Anyway-
it our speed running? What is it? Speed runs?
Our
Speedruns,
speed
I
run.
believe.
Yeah, there's a lot of speedrunning communities.
Yeah, I'm looking for the.
Oh,
That one has 436 subscribers, so I assume nope. This one has
Our-
95,000. That's
Yeah,
the bit.
our
that's
speed
the
run.
one.
Yeah.
Yep.
95,000. Yes.
All right, so let's go do it. I of course am Ronclea. You can follow me over at twitch.tv.ronclea if you like. Oh, I was going to mention something during the games portion. I'm not going to do this tonight because I have some smashing going on. But I picked up a game. It is a free game. It's an early access. It is called Project Darwin. It is it's kind of like a mini battle royale, 10 players. But there's an 11th player who is the show director, and they can do things in the game. And I'm going to be streaming this. I'm actually going to play the director. And it looks really interesting. So that's going to be awesome. So come check that out. So that's going to do it this week. We'll be back next week with episode 160. It's going to be amazing. Amazing we've even gotten past like episode 5.
I know,
definitely
right?
past 200.
And I've
Real.
definitely been here the whole time. Definitely.
I
Maybe,
take all
if
credit.
possible.
About 5% of the time.
Yeah.
100% of the time, I'm there 5% of the time.
Exactly. So thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you guys next week. Until then, attention grabber. Take it away.
Follow me on Twitch. Goodbye.
Hold on. I got this. I got this.
no, we got to do this right.
Wega, take it away.
I got nothing. It's I got a kazoo.
Just
And,
show, take it away.
See you. Bye.
Follow me on Twitch.